Hello student. So after completion of the neuron, let's see the meninges. In Ayurveda, the meninges that is called the Mastishkavaran. So the CNS is highly protected and secured into that the cranial cavity, and the three meninges which is filled by the CSF are covered to the all parts of the brain and the spinal cord. These three meninges forming a watery cushion around that the blood vessels and give the shock free environment, and it should be protected all the vital part into that the CNS. So these the meninges are of three types, that is the outermost dura mater, the middle coat that is called the arachnoid mater, and the innermost coat that is the pia mater. So let's see the details of the meninges. So here in this diagram you can see that is the meninges. So meninges in Ayurveda that is called the Mastishkavaran. So here that is the brain and the spinal cord, that is called the CNS or the central nervous system. So total part of the brain and spinal cord which is covered by that the meninges. These meninges are the outer covering that is called the dura mater or that is called the Pachyu meninges, and the middle layer it is called the arachnoid mater, and the innermost layer it is called the pia mater. Then the arachnoid mater and pia mater togetherly it is called the leptomeninges. Then let's see the first, that is the dura mater. So the dura mater, it is the thickest and the toughest layer and the outermost layer of the meninges, and it is made up by the two layers. That is the outer layer it is called the periosteal layer or the endosteal layer, and the inner layer it is called the meningeal layer. So here you can see endosteal or the meningeal layer, endosteal or the periosteal layer, and this is the meningeal layer. So this one. Okay, so let's see that is the endosteal or the periosteal layer. So the periosteal layer it is continuous to the periosteum of the skull. So here you can see that is the skull, and the inner layer of the skull it is called the periosteum. So that is the periosteal layer or the endosteal layer that should be totally covered the inner surface of the skull. And this passes throughout the all sutures and the foramina which are presenting into that the skull, and it is also forming the periorbital layer of the orbit. So orbit into the skull, that is the two orbits are present. So this the periosteal layer that should be also enters into the orbit, and that should be also forming the periosteal layer of the orbit. Okay. Then it provide the sheath for all the cranial nerves, and the sheath are fused with the epineurium outside of the skull. Then the outer surface is adherent to the inner surface of the skull by the fibrous and the vascular process, and adhesion that is most in the region of the suture. So here you can see that is the periosteal layer which is totally adherent to the inner layer of the periosteum of the skull. So here this double fold you can see, thick layer, and that should be end at the foramen magnum. Here that is the foramen magnum is present, that is the large foramen of the skull through which that is the spinal cord that should be enters into that the vertebral column. So throughout this, that is the total part it is covered by the endosteal layer or the periosteal layer, and that should be also included into that the suture and mostly attached to the different suture of the skull, that is the coronal suture, sagittal suture, lambdoid suture, and these suture they should be attached to that the endosteal layer. Then the second layer, that is the meningeal layer. So the meningeal layer it should be forming the fold or the modification, divide into the cranial cavity into some compartments. Okay, so this fold of the meningeal layer, that is first it is called the falx cerebri, second one that is the falx cerebelli, third one the tentorium cerebelli, and fourth that is the diaphragma sali. So let's see first, that is the falx cerebri. So let's see the falx cerebri. So it is a large sickle shaped fold. So here you can see that is the sickle shaped fold. It is the large sickle-shaped fold of dura mater occupying the median longitudinal fissure between the two cerebral hemisphere. So you know there are the two cerebral hemisphere are present. So here in this diagram you can see that is the two cerebral hemisphere, that is the right side and this is the left side, and between this, that is the median longitudinal fissure is present, this one. So this fissure, it should be present in this way, that is the sickle shaped fold in this way. So that should be present between, that is the two cerebral hemisphere. Then anterior end of this fold, so here it has two ends, that is the anterior end and the posterior end. So anterior end of this of this fold, it is attached to the crista galli. So here you can see that is the attached to the crista galli, and posterior end, that is attached to the tentorium cerebelli. So here you can see this is the tentorium cerebelli. So tentorium cerebelli, that is also the fold of the dura mater, but that is present posteriorly. So this part is attached to that the tentorium cerebelli. Then these falx cerebri have the two margins, that is the upper margin here, which is convex and attend to the lip of sagittal sulcus. Lower margin is concave. So here this one, and it is free. Then the two surfaces, that is the right surface and the left surface. So here in this diagram you can see this is the sickle shaped fold, and here that is this is the right surface and this is the left surface. Okay? So these two surfaces, they are related to the medial surface of the cerebral hemisphere, and it consists of the three sinuses. First, that is the superior sagittal sinus. So here you can see that is the superior sagittal sinus. Second one, that is the inferior sagittal sinus. So this one here you can see that is the inferior sagittal sinus and the straight sinus. So straight sinus in this diagram cannot be seen because that is not the three dimensional. Okay, after then second layer, that is the tentorium cerebelli. So here in this diagram you can see the tentorium cerebelli, this one. So the tentorium cerebelli layer, it is a ten shape, as the name suggests. It is the ten shape forming the roof of posterior cranial fossa and separates the cerebellum from the occipital lobe of the cerebrum. You know that is the cerebrum and is present anteriorly, and the cerebellum that should be present posteriorly. So here in this diagram you can see this is the cerebrum and this is the cerebellum. So between these, that is this fold is present, a ten shaped fold. So this is the tentorium cerebelli. Or in the another diagram you can see this is the cerebellum, this is the medial surface of the cerebrum, and this is the cerebellum. So between these here, that is the ten shaped fold is present. So that is called the tentorium cerebelli. So in the lateral view here you can see that is the tentorium cerebelli. So as it is the ten shape, so it should be divided that the cavity or the cranial cavity into the supratentorial surface and the infratentorial surface or compartment. Then the infratentorial compartment, this lower one. The infratemporal compartment, it consists of the hind brain. So hind brain, that consists of, you know, the midbrain, pons, and the hindbrain, that consists of the pons, medulla, and the cerebellum. So here in this diagram you can see this is the pons, medulla, and the cerebellum. So it should be divided here, that the fold is present, so it should be divided that the three structure from that the cerebrum. Then anteriorly, this tentorium cerebelli, it is attached to the anterior clinoid process and have the two surfaces, that is the superior surface, which is the convex and attached falx cerebri which is attached to it. So here this is the superior surface where this is attached, the falx cerebri, and inferior surface which is concave, here you can see, and it is fits in the convex superior surface of the cerebellum, and the falx cerebelli, it is attached to the posterior part. After then we should have to see that is the falx cerebelli. So here in this diagram you can see that is the fold, that is the tentorium cerebelli, this one. So that is the cerebrum and that is the cerebellum, that is the pons medulla. So this structure they are divided by, that is the tent shaped fold of the dura mater. So that is called the tentorium cerebelli. After then we should have to see that is the falx cerebelli. So falx cerebelli, it is a small sickle shaped fold which intervening posteriorly between the two halls of the cerebrum, or this double fold or this fold of the dura mater that should be present between the two halls of the cerebellum. So for this we should have to see again the another diagram, so you will get the clear idea about it. So here in this diagram you can see that is the two halls of the cerebellum, and this fold it is present into that this two part of the cerebellar hemisphere in this way. So in this way, okay. So the falx cerebelli so the fold of this falx cerebelli, it is base is attached to the posterior part of the inferior surface of the tentorium cerebelli, and apex it is directed into that the two parts which are distinguished on the sides of the foramen magnum. The posterior margin it is convex and attached to the internal occipital crest, and anterior margin it is concave and free. So here in this diagram, that is the fold is present between, that is the two halls of the cerebellum. After then we should have to see that is the diaphragma celli. So here in this diagram you can see the image, the diaphragma celli. So it is a small horizontal circular fold of dura mater which roofing over the pituitary fossa. Here you can see that is the double fold of the dura mater which is present into that the hypophyseal fossa, where that is the pituitary gland or hypophysis cerebri gland is present, and it should be covered, that is the upper surface or the stalk of the pituitary gland. So because of this the pituitary gland it should be protected into that the hypophyseal fossa. Anteriorly it is attached to the tuberculum celli, and posteriorly it is attached to that the dorsum celli. Then it has a central aperture. So here you can see that is the small central aperture through which, that is the stalk of the pituitary gland or the hypophysis cerebri, it should be passes. So here you can see that is the stalk of the pituitary gland or the hypophysis cerebri. So throughout that the opening it should be comes out. So that is the diaphragma celli. Then the spinal dura mater, this one, that is the spinal cord, and that is covered, that is the spinal dura mater. So it form a loose tube around the spinal cord. So here you can see that is the loose tube. It is continuous above with inner or the meningeal layer of the cerebral dura mater. So as you know, that is the dura mater has the two layer, that is outermost layer, that is the endosteal layer which is attached to the endosteum of that is the skull, and the second is the meningeal layer which totally covered, that is the brain and the spinal cord. So that is the spinal dura mater that is totally covered by the meningeal layer of the dura mater. The spinal dura mater, it is separated from the vertebra by the epidural space, and therefore it encloses the phylum terminally and a periosteum and fused with the periosteum of the coccyx. So here you can see that is the phylum terminally, this one. After then we should have to see that is the arachnoid matter. So arachnoid matter, this one in this diagram you can see that is the outermost, the dura mater, and second one layer, that is the arachnoid matter. So this one here you can see. So arachnoid matter, it is delicated avascular membrane which enveloping the brain and the spinal cord. So arachnoid matter, that should be covered total part of the brain, as well as that should be covered, that is the spinal cord also. So it is does not dip into the sulci and fissure except the longitudinal and the lateral fissure. So that is, the brain consists of the two fissure, that is the single median longitudinal fissure and the two lateral fissure of the brain. So this arachnoid matter, that only dips into that the two large fissure, and the remaining, that is the sulci and gyri, in this that the arachnoid matter cannot be enters. Then it separates from the dura mater by the subdural space, and from the pie mater by the subarachnoid space. So here you can see that the CSF is present, so that is the subarachnoid space, and it is separate from the dura mater, that is called the subdural space. Then that is the subarachnoid space, that should be filled with the CSF. So here in this diagram you can see that is the total CSF watery fluid that should be present. Okay? And it contains a larger arteries and the veins. It preserves a convolution of the brain and accompanies the inner layer of the dura mater in the formation of the falx cerebri, falx cerebelli, and the tentorium cerebelli. After then, we should have to see that is the arachnoid process. So for this arachnoid process, we should have to see the another diagram. So here in this diagram you can see that is the arachnoid process, this one. So the arachnoid process means that is the arachnoid process of the arachnoid matter. It should be divided into that the two parts. First, that is called the arachnoid villi, and the second, that is called the arachnoid granulation. So arachnoid villi, these are the small finger like process of the arachnoid tissue projects into that the cranial venous sinuses. And second one, that is the arachnoid granulation. So here you can see that is the arachnoid granulation. So the arachnoid granulation, these are the larger and thicker in size, and with the advanced age, that is the arachnoid villi, they should be enlarged and forming a peduncle tuft like structure. It is called the arachnoid granulation. So here you can see that is the sagittal sinus, this one, superior sagittal sinus, blue color, and in this, that is this arachnoid process, it should be forming that the small connections. So throughout that the connections, that is the CSF, it should be enters into that the sinuses. Okay? So according to age, that the arachnoid villi, it should be forming the top part, and it should be forming that the elevated part. So that is called the arachnoid granulations. After then, let's see that is the pie mater. So pie mater, that is the innermost layer of the meninges, and it is thin vascular membrane closely investing the brain and the spinal cord. Okay? And in relation with the brain, it is dips into various sulci and other irregularities which is present on the surface of the brain. So it is better defined around the brainstem. And on the cerebellum, pie mater dips here into that the cerebellum. The pie mater dips and form a fold in relation with the larger fissures of the cerebellum. Then it covers all the sheath to the cranial nerves which emerges with the epineurium around them. It also provided the perivascular sheath. It also provided the perivascular sheath for a minute vessel and entering and leaving to the brain substances. Then the tela cordia. So tela cordia, it is the fold of the pie mater. So that should be present here.
it is the fold of pie matter which invaginates the ventricles of brain and enclosing the tufts of capillaries. Such pie matter lined by a secretory ependyma forming a choroid plexus. So here you can see that the red color, this one, that is the fold of the pie matter that is called the tela cordia, and it forming that the choroid plexus which is help for the secretion of the CSF. After then the spinal pie matter. So here on the lower side, the spinal pie matter, it is a thicker, firmer and less vascular than the cerebral one. Okay. Then it gives the septum into the anterior median fissure of the spinal cord. Okay. Then below to the conus medullaris. So you know that is the last part of the spinal cord. It is called the conus medullaris. So below to that the conus medullaris, the pie matter, it is continue as the long cylindrical filament that is called the filum terminale. So here you can see the filum terminale. Into another diagram you can see this is the conus medullaris, the last part of the spinal cord, and this is the filum terminalis, that is the long cylindrical process, this one. So that is the pie matter.